Right, welcome to this index review for Harlequins. Now, the way 8th editions worked here, they've updated all of the factions together and then have released them in a series of books, sort of clustered together. So this book here, Index Xenos 1, contains Craftworlds, Drukhari or Dark Eldar, Ynnari, Harlequins and Necrons. I thought about doing a whole video for the book. It would be extremely long, and then you'd have to try and find your way through to the different factions. So what I'm going to do is, in the style of the traditional codex reviews that I've done on the channel, I'm going to do the same style for these index videos as well. So I'm going to break the factions down per video. So in this particular episode we're going to just focus on Harlequins out of this Xenos 1 book. So just like regular codex review, you're going to go through each of the unit entries, and then obviously going to be talking about them now, how they play in 8th edition. And then for armies that I don't have, I plan to review all of the factions. For armies that I don't have, I plan to theoretically, what units I think would be good, and sort of give advice about building an army from there. And then for armies that I do have, then obviously going to be interested as to which units seem to look better in 8th edition, and then how it's going to affect the actual army that I currently have. They're saying that all the units should be pretty good, but it's definitely going to be the case that some units will be better than others. So in this episode, it is Harlequins we are going to take a look at. So I've got mine from gamingfigures.com. So they do Games Workshop products at a discounted rate. Just means you can get a discount off the regular retail price. So they do 15% off, and then if your order comes to over £100, they give another 5% off on top of that. And then if you're in the UK and your order comes to over £40, I think they offer free postage as well. So all of those, it all just helps just to save you a bit more on your hobby. So you can check that out. It's gamingfigures.com. They do ship all over the world, and they sell not just Games Workshop stuff, but loads of other accessories and gaming systems as well. So I've chosen Harlequins first. I'm not going to go... I was thinking, well, maybe we should just do Space Marines, just the usual, what's expected. But no, I'm just going to take it in the order of where I'm at the moment. Just as 7th is coming to an end, I was in the middle of building a Harlequin army. So I'm just going to try and shift that over to 8th nice and quickly, so that I can do a new list for Harlequins, and then just continue modelling and painting the units that I have, and then try and form a new army. It's one I'm working on at the moment, really excited about them. They look really nice, and then just work on them, work on an 8th edition army for those. And you can expect to see painting tutorials on both of the channels for them. Then over on the Plus channel, the follow-on from the review will be an army development video where I actually propose an army list, and then you can leave your comments and feedback and help shape that list. Then I build and construct the army. And then there's the advanced tactical videos as well. Obviously you need to rethink those in 8th edition as well. But you'll see a fair amount of activity regarding Harlequins over on the Plus channel. What's interesting about Harlequins now, they're saying that the factions are sort of all balanced out, that every faction's standing a chance now of doing well. That's good news for Harlequins. A neglected faction, Orcs were neglected, took them on, tried to put a nice army together and tried to do well with them. They did alright, they did pretty good. And then hopefully I want to do a Harlequin army that's very, very rare, even rarer today than Orcs, and then try and put a decent army together, one that captures a nice flavour and feel of Harlequins as well. I'd love to see them do well. Have played a few sort of small games with them, with units that I already have, and really, really enjoy using them. They're a fascinating army, so hopefully there'll be a fair amount of Harlequin activity on both of the channels in the days ahead. So we'll go to the review then. So Harlequins only occupies a couple of pages now, so it's all sort of squeezed in here. So there's two sections to these books, the way they work. You have to flick right to the back to get your costs. So we go to here, Harlequins, and this gives you your points values of your units, melee weapons and ranged weapons for your upgrades. And then across here is your war gear, all listed along here as well. So keep a finger in that page, and then across here you then have to find your unit entries. Yes, this is Necron. Should have Harlequins coming up just before. There's Unari. Here they are. Okay, so Harlequin army list. So semi-similar to codexes. My theory is that they want to stop codex creep. They have brought all of the factions up to date instantly, which I think is a brilliant idea. It's a very, very good idea to do that. So it's a good move from Games Workshop. And then my theory is that they will then start to release individual codexes. I don't know if they will, I'm not sure, because they're planning on each year just updating the rules and updating units that way, so this may not change. We'll have to see, but I would like to see the day when regular codexes return. You know, if you're an individual army book with all of the painting guides, showcase, alternate colour schemes and all that kind of thing, I'm pretty sure they will do that in the future. But for now, you just have it in this index book. So Harlequins, like a regular codex, you have formations are all gone, detachments you get from the regular rulebook, and then in here you do have a couple of special rules, and your psychic abilities are listed here as well. So abilities is Rising Crescendo. It's the only one there is for the Harlequins, and it's for sort of the infantry unit types. Units with this ability can advance or run and charge in the same turn, so nice bit of speed for Harlequins. Now for Harlequins, instead of the movement 6, each unit gets its own movement. For a regular Harlequin player, their movement 8. So now you're on movement of 8, plus D6 advancing, which you do in the movement phase, and then you can charge on top of that 2d6 charge range as well. So nice speed for the Harlequins. That element of speed that they have has been preserved into 8th edition. In addition, this is really good actually. Rising Crescendo is very, very good. In addition, they can fall back and still shoot and or charge in the same turn. So like hit and run, this is an incredible rule for them. This makes them very, very good. Usually the way the rules work now in 8th edition, you can pull back, you pull out of a combat, but then after that you are not allowed, you move out of combat, you use your movement distance, but you can't run, you can't shoot, and you can't charge. But for Harlequins, you can move out of combat, use your movement, and you can shoot and charge in the same turn. It doesn't have to be at the same target. You can pull out of a combat and then you can shoot at one target, charge into another one. So incredible flexibility with these. Harlequins are very, very flexible. I think they're a very dangerous army as well. You'll see some of the weapons that they have later on. They're an army not to be trifled with, for sure. So I'd love them to take the channel by storm, because it's so bright and colourful. Look at the colour schemes here, which is this colour scheme is what I'm going for Harlequins. Just such a showcase army as well. They'll bring such a nice dimension to the channels as well. So very excited about Harlequins at the moment. The models are beautiful as well, so it's perfect time I think to collect them. So there was a time Harlequins were sort of left behind. Nice models came out, nice codex as well, but other codexes, other factions just got one formation after another. Harlequins struggling, but now is the time for the Harlequins to emerge. They can take on anyone, I think, and do very well indeed. So that's Rising Crescendo, a fantastic rule for them. So they can run and shoot, or advance and charge, and then they can pull out of combats, shoot at whoever they want, and charge at whoever they want as well. So fantastic abilities that they have. So then we'll come back to that for the shadows here when we come to the entry a bit later on. There's keywords, there's mask, don't need to worry about any of that, just that. So we're going to go on to the first unit entry here, which is troops. So like in 7th, you have unit types. This is it's a Harlequin troop, and then not to be confused here, troops type, which these are. This is a troops type here. So a player then now is movement 8, so that's an improvement on them. Usually it was 6 in 7th edition. Weapon skill 3+, so always in 3+ to hit in combat, which is nice and reliable. Ballistic skill 3+ to hit with shooting, which has remained the same. Strength and toughness 3, 1 wound, 4 attacks as standard. There's not a combination. You don't get a bonus for charging, don't get a bonus for weapons combinations usually, but they've given them 4 attacks. There's an incredible amount of attacks for a basic infantry model. Leadership 8, which is a bit less than what they used to have, and then they have a save of a 6+, which is an improvement. They never used to have any armor save at all. So Harlequins have improved a lot. Your options here: this unit contains 5 players. It can include up to 7 players. Power rating of +1 per model. Or we'll go to the back and you'll see the points cost for them. Each model is armed with a Shuriken pistol, a Harlequin's blade, and Prismatic Grenades. So we'll cover those now. Shuriken pistol, it's very similar to how it was, which is here. Its range is 12, pistol 1, strength 4, and then damage 1. And then if you roll a 6, similar to the old rules for Shuriken, then it's an AP of -3, so it's -3 off your armor save instead of a 0. And that is it. So a Space Marine who's hit and wounded on 6 will have a 6+ armor save, reduced by 3. The Harlequin's blade is just the strength of the user weapon, nothing special about that, no bonus attacks or anything like that at all for that. And then Prismatic Grenades, you're allowed to throw 1 grenade a turn, are actually really good. It's range 6, grenade D6, that's D6 shots, strength 4, AP -1, so actually -1 on your armor save, and then damage of 1. So again, a brilliant weapon. That the Prismatic Grenade is really cool. So the cost is a bit annoying having to keep going backwards and forwards. A few points cost. I don't know why they couldn't take this section and just park it at the back here on the pages behind Harlequins, so you don't have to keep looking to the very back, but that's the way they've done it. So Harlequins points values: a player is 15 points for that stat line. Is exceptionally, it's the same points cost, so you're paying the same amount of points as used to, but you're actually getting a model that's much better. So, and there's 5 to 12 of them per unit, so there's 15 points per extra one you add on. So really happy with Harlequin troops. They are deadly, and they've got even better. There's still more benefits for them. Any model may replace its Shuriken pistol with a Neuro Disruptor or Fusion pistol. So the Fusion pistol is here. It's range 6, pistol 1, strength 8, AP -4, and D6 damage. If the target is within half range of this weapon, roll 2 dice when inflicting damage and discard the lowest. It's a bit more reliable for the damage that you cause. Damage D6 is very volatile. You know, you could roll a 1, you could roll a 6, but rolling 2 dice, choosing the best, makes it nice and reliable. You have to get within 3 inches to do that. Not so sure about giving them shooting ability and close combat. I like the Shuriken pistol as it is. You get the Prismatic Grenade as standard as well. So I sort of saved points by not paying out for decent pistols and then ploughing that investment into the close combat ability instead. So, but it's a deadly weapon, the Fusion pistol. It will cost you 9 points. Isn't bad. Not bad for the damage that it can do. That's not bad. It'll take on the heaviest of vehicles. The other option is a Neuro Disruptor. It's range 12. And remember, the other cool thing is these pistols can be used in close combat now as well. So pistols are better than they used to be. Strength 3 for the Neuro Disruptor. AP -3, and then damage is D3. So this part of it's deadly, but strength 3, it's not very strong at all. It is not very strong at all. 5s to wound. Yeah, 5s to wound a Space Marine. Not very impressive. And then for against vehicles, you don't get D3, you actually get just 1. So not very good against vehicles either. Not very good at all. You've got a 6 to wound most vehicles. All vehicles pretty much. So not very good. The Neuro Disruptor costs 10 points, so I think I wouldn't bother Wouldn't bother with one of them. We've got the Shuriken pistol we've covered. Now, any model may replace its Harlequin's blade with a Harlequin's Embrace, a Kiss, or a Caress. So, I think all three of these are pretty good. The first one is the Caress. So melee weapon, strength 5. So you don't plus on to his standard strength anymore. Just the melee weapon has its own strength. So the Caress is strength 5. That's nice. It's freeze to wound Space Marines. And you know, toughness 4 or worse. It's always freeze to wound. That's brilliant. Really, really good. You know, 4s to wound toughness 5 models. Really good. The AP on it is -2 as well, and it does 1 damage. So AP -2 is pretty. It's a decent weapon, that one, the Caress. And that costs here. It costs 9 points. Yep, 9 points. Next one's the Harlequin's Embrace. This one's strength 4, it's not quite as strong, but it's AP -3, so you're knocking some off of the armour for that one. And it's actually quite a bargain here at 6 points, so very, very cheap, that one. So I reckon I'll be going, on my army, I reckon I'll be going for a spread of these, because I like all of them. And the other one's the classic here, the Harlequin's Kiss. That's strength 4, it's only AP -1, which isn't very much compared to the others. But the damage is D3. Now, she's quite handy against characters. You try and knock off wounds. See, with D3 damage, if I wound a Space Marine, and for damage I roll I get a 3. It just kills that one model. It doesn't overflow onto the others. I believe that's how it works. So it's only going to work on multiple wound models. So Harlequin's Kiss. Good if you're going to go after a monstrous creature, but then again, look, it's only strength 4. So this is the weighing up of it here. I think the Harlequin's Kiss is not as good as it was. It used to be strength 6, AP2 in the old rules, and then it had instant death if you rolled a 6 as well. I think the Harlequin's Kiss isn't quite as good as it used to be. I think the good ones there is the Embrace and the Caress. They're pretty good, but I'll probably go for a mixture. There. The other thing, thinking about now, tactically speaking of Harlequins, or the new rules, is you choose what models you want to die. So the idea of having a troop of, say, 8 of these, you put a couple of each of the weapon types, then you just have a couple of regular Harlequin players that have no upgrades at all. They're the ones that take the hits and the damage. And you try and preserve and bodyguard the units that are well equipped. So that's Harlequin's Kiss. Then that is that, and that costs 14 points. So it is significantly more expensive than the other two. I think I'll go all out with Harlequin's Kisses, maybe 1 or 2 of those for a troop, and then we'll definitely go for the others as well. And they're definitely a marine killing, infantry killing, light infantry, medium infantry, heavy infantry. Happily throw them into a unit of Terminators, because the Terminator 2+ armors are not as well protected now, because you can, with this minus AP value here, you can dent Terminator armor as well. So they're pretty much good against anything, but I think they'll struggle against very high toughness models like tanks and monstrous creatures, because there's no auto wound regardless of toughness, which is, so they'll struggle. So that's your auger options. Rising Crescendo, so they get that, what we covered earlier on. Flip Belt. This unit can move across models and terrain as if they were not there, so not slowed down by moving through terrain. So that's that for that. And then Hollow Suit, and this is a major improvement for Harlequins. Models in this unit have a 4+ invuln save, so it's 4+ invuln. It was 5+. I tried to get a formation that helped them reroll 1s, but now it's 4+. That is half of all damage they're going to take in shooting and combat is going to be ignored, unless it's mortal wounds. So fantastic to have an improved invuln save for Harlequins as well, so that they've improved significantly. So that's them. So I think they're excellent. I think they're really good, and you can equip them in a nasty way and they will happily charge into most targets. So that's the troop. That is the only troops option that Harlequins can take. So now we've got a character coming up next, and what they've done is they've split the troop master away from the troops. This is regular players here, and then now you buy your troop master as a separate character. So you can take a unit of Harlequins, you don't have to upgrade them to any characters if you don't want to, or you can take a troop master if you want, and he's pretty good. It's quite enhanced here. You know, we're not looking at like a 10-point sergeant upgrade here. This is something more significant. The troop master is actually quite well kitted out. So troop master here, movement 8, weapon skill 2+, so he'll always hit on 2+ in close combat. Ballistic skill 2+, he'll always shoot and hit on a 2+. Strength toughness 3, 5 wounds, so wounds has jumped up, 5 attacks, nice amount of attacks, leadership 9 as well, and then a save of a 6+. You can take all of the usual weapons, although you can take a power sword, which will be strength of the user. Now this is no furious charge now for Harlequin, so he's going to be on strength 3 with that. It is -1 to your armor saves, but the power sword's going to struggle. Now, but there is something that can enhance, you'll see it in a moment, that can make them actually a little bit better. So power sword will cost 4 points. It's actually cheap to take a power sword for Harlequins, so there's no harm in taking a power sword. So we've covered all of this. If I was going to take a pistol, a decent one, I would give it to the troop master, because you're paying the same amount of points for it, but he's going to be hitting on a 2+, so it's more of an effective use of your points if you do spend out for a pistol. So you may replace your Shuriken pistol with a Neuro Disruptor or Fusion pistol, and you can take all of the close combat weapons. Rising Crescendo as before, Flip Belt, Hollow Suit as before, and then Choreographer of War. So characters now don't just influence the unit that they are with, but it's a sphere of influence, so they can influence multiple units. So you sort of want to keep your characters within multiple units to get the most out of them. All friendly Harlequin units that are within 6 inches of this model in the fight phase can reroll wound rolls. So it's semi like a chaplain was in the old edition. So I think he's pretty good. Now he's not cheap. He is a troop master, who's 59 points. That's without any upgrades. 59 points. But you're getting a really good stat line, plenty of wounds, and you're getting this bonus rule here, which can enhance, really enhance the Harlequins. Getting to reroll wounds. You know, they're pretty reliable for hitting, and then they're going to get a nice bit of help there for rerolling wounds. So I think Troop Master's really good. And what's cool is you could have 2 units of troops, have the character between the 2 of them, and his benefits will go to both, as if there was 2 of them. So you can use them pretty efficiently. So Troop Master, I think, is definitely a viable option as well. Right, so next up is the Death Jester. I will say it because it's relevant now for 8th, his power level. Power is the quick way of putting a pointed army together. So power 7 for this unit here, so that's 7 power points. You know, say if you want to play 20 power point games, so right, I've got 7 here, 5 and 5 and 3. And it's just a very quick way of working out a generally balanced army. Troop Master is 4 power points, Death Jester's 4. Movement 8, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+. So he's nice and reliable as he was before. Strength toughness 3, 5 wounds for him, 4 attacks, leadership 9, and a 6+ save. He's armed with a Shuriken cannon. So when attacking with this weapon, choose one of the profiles below. Each time you make a wound of a 6+ for this weapon. That hit is resolved with an AP of -3 instead of 0. So similar to Shuriken cannon, how it was. A Shrieker is assault 1, so you get 1 shot, it's strength 6, damage 1. If an infantry model is slain by an attack made with this weapon, then its unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Mortal wounds just ignore everything. You don't roll to wound, you just take the models off, even if it is an invuln save. Even if it's an invuln save, it ignores it as well. So, but the odds of doing that you've got a hit, you've got a wound, and the opponent has got to fail an armor save. Unless you're rolling a 6, they're going to get their full armor. So it'd be quite hard to get that D3 mortal wounds. So, and then you've got here a Shuriken, 3 shots, strength 6, AP 1. If you get a 6, it becomes minus AP of -3. I rate that really. It's not that great a weapon. So it's okay. I think I'll still have them in the army, but I don't think the Death Jester is that amazing. Abilities: Rising Crescendo, Deadly Hunter. This model can target a character even if it is not the closest enemy unit. So usually you have to target the closest unit. So characters, if they're at the back, you can't pick them out for characters, the rule for those. But for him, he just ignores that. You can pick up characters, no problem. It could be deadly, but I don't think his weapon's deadly enough to deliver on that. I mean, if you did fail a save with the Shrieker shot, D3 mortal wounds, that could cause a lot of trouble for a character, but the odds of it are quite low. Death is not enough. Any models flee. If any models flee from a unit in the same turn has been attacked by this model, then you can choose the first model that flees instead of your opponent choosing. So if morale, you fail morale, you have to remove the number of models by the amount that you failed the test by. For here, you get to choose. You say, right, I want that guy with the lattice cannon. He can be the first one to flee or to die. So that's quite cool, but just think these rules are quite weak here. Flip belt and the invuln save of 4+. So Death Jester is okay. I'll probably take 1 or 2 of them maybe, but they're a low priority. I don't think they are that amazing. And a Death Jester will cost 75 points. He's got no haywire grenades as he used to have. You can't dish out any shrouding ability or anything like that, so I think he's been stripped down here and he's not that amazing. So that's the Death Jester there. Anyway, alright, so next one is the Shadow Seer here. It's interesting, cycles have changed a fair bit now in 8th edition, but we'll run through this one. I do really like the model, so definitely want to try and include one of these at least in the army, but we'll see how good he is here. Shadow Seer, their movement 8, same as the others. Weapon skill 2+, and ballistic skill 2+. So again, another option for equipping a model with a pistol will be well spent on him, needing 2s to hit. Decent in close combat as well. Strength and toughness 3, 5 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 9, which is really good, and then a save of a 7+. Now, Shadow Seer is a single model armed with a Shuriken pistol, hallucinogen grenade launcher, and a mist stave. So that's the standard loadout that he comes with. And then just checking here, so I'm checking to see if he has to pay for this war gear on top of his price. So here you go to Shadow Seer and he's 134 points. It's a lot more expensive than he used to be, almost double the price that he used to be. So Shadow Seer's got very expensive indeed. Then it doesn't include war gear, it says here, but then if you go to hallucinogen grenade launcher, it's 0 points, and if you go to a mist stave, it's 0 points as well, and then a Shuriken pistol is here at 0 points. So you would have to pay for your war gear, but it's all 0, 0, 0, so that's just a straight 134 points for that loadout just there. So hallucinogen grenade launcher is 18 inches as it used to be, and then just your result here, you roll 2d6 if a unit is hit by this weapon. Remember, you need 2s to hit. If the roll is equal to or greater than the target unit's leadership, then it suffers d3 mortal wounds. The average leadership 7 or 8, so you're going to need a good roll to get that, and then you can score d3 mortal wounds. It's not bad. I don't think that's his primary weapon, but it's one of a selection that he has, so it's not bad at all. 2s to hit, and then try and get sort of 7 or 8 or more usually, and then you can cause d3 mortal wounds. As mortal wounds is ignores invuln saves, ignores regular saves, no roll to wound, so actually pretty nasty. Neuro Disruptor, he can take a Shuriken pistol. He has Misstave, melee weapon, +2 strength, so he makes him strength 5 in close combat. AP -1 as well, so you can knock a bit off the armour, and it's D3 damage as well, which isn't bad either, so not a bad melee weapon either, that one. War gear options, this model may replace its Shuriken pistol with Neuro Disruptor, and as we've seen, that will cost 10 points to do that. So you can't take a fusion pistol, so just the Neuro Disruptor. Not sure if I would bother with that, I don't think. Rising Crescendo for him, flip belt, 4+ invuln. Right, so he comes with shield from harm. Your opponent must subtract 1 from the wound rolls for any attacks made against this model, and for attacks against friendly infantry units within 6 of 1 or more models with this ability. So the opponent rolls to hit them either in close combat or with shooting, and then but to wound it's -1 from the to wound roll. So if he needs 4s to wound, it becomes 5s to wound. If he needs 2s to wound, it becomes 3s to wound. So a bit of protection there to some degree, and again it's within 6 inches, so it's multiple units potentially can be protected by him. So I think that's why they're making the characters more expensive in points. They're getting more wounds, they're harder to kill, and then they do confer their ability a greater sphere of influence for them, with the potential to influence, you know, a chunk of your army. So I think that's why they're more expensive. So not bad. I think the Shadow Seer is not bad. So then psychic abilities. This model can attempt to manifest 2 psychic powers in each friendly psychic phase. He's got access to 2. And attempt to deny 1 psychic power in each enemy psychic phase. It knows Smite and 1 psychic power from the Phantasmancy discipline. So it comes with Smite, decent enough power. It's 2d6, you need to get 5 or more, and if it goes off, closest enemy unit takes d3 mortal wounds. If you roll the 2 dice and you get 10 or more in total, it's d6 mortal wounds. It's pretty nasty power, quite easy to activate as well. And then this is the other options. It's been cut down, you've got 3 options now for Phantasmancy. So it says here, you can either roll a d3 to randomly generate power, or you can choose. So you've got access just to pick whichever one you want. So Twilight Pathways is a warp charge value of 6, so on 2 dice you need 6 or more to make it go off. If manifested, each visible friendly Harlequins unit within 3 inches of the Psyker, that unit can immediately move as if it was the movement phase. You cannot use Twilight Pathways on a unit more than once in each psychic phase. So you can make the move an extra 8 inches as standard. That could get you into combat pretty good. So there's a boost there. Not sure how often you'd use that during a game. The next one's Fog of Dreams. Has a warp charge value of 7, so it's in sort of an average score to make that go off. If manifested, select a visible enemy unit within 18 of the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, your opponent must subtract 1 from all to hit rolls for that unit that target infantry, Harlequin infantry. It's okay. And so it's that amazing. It's only -1. And the next one here, Mirror of Minds, has a warp charge value of 8. If manifested, select an enemy unit within 24 of the Psyker, then both players roll a dice. If the Harlequin player's roll is equal to or higher than your opponent's, the target suffers 1 mortal wound. Repeat the process until the target is destroyed, or the enemy player rolls a result that is higher than the Harlequin's roll. So, say that as more deadly. Sometimes it will be useless and the opponent will stop you straight away. Other times you could just keep knocking up mortal wounds as well. So that one's quite dangerous. And the other 2 are quite mediocre. Smite then's pretty good. I'll probably go for Smite in that one. So I would say that the Shadow Seer, the psychic abilities, is part of what makes him alright, but it's not the main feature, I would say. It's a mixture of his weapons, the protection he can offer, and his psychic abilities. It's those 3 together, really. so his ability to influence 6 inches around with that protection is pretty helpful. His psychic powers aren't bad, and then you can equip him pretty good as well. So I think he's alright, not too bad. So that's the Shadow Sea, a bit more durable as well, with 5 wounds and a 4+ invuln. So next one is the Solitaire, which I think is a bargain, a really good bargain here. So I have the model painted up, and the rules apply as before. Only one of this model per army, so it's only one you can take. But look at this, his movement 12, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+, strength and toughness 3, 5 wounds now, used to be 3, 8 attacks as standard. It's an amazing amount of attacks, leadership 9, and 6+ save. He comes with a caress and a kiss. The way this works is you get his points value here. A Solitaire is 94 points. It does not include war gear, so you then have to pay 14 points on top of that, and then also a 9 points on top of that as well to pay for his war gear. So that puts him at about 115 points. 115 points, so still works out actually cheaper than it used to be, and I think his stats have actually improved by a lot. So the crest and the kiss there, we've seen those earlier. It's the same stats there for the Harlequin troops. Abilities, Rising Crescendo, you can take part of that as well. Blitz Roar is there for him. Once per battle, instead of making a normal move, you can make a blitz move with it. If you do so, add 2d6 to the model's move characteristic for this turn. In addition, his characteristics is increased to 10 for the rest of the turn. This ability may not be used if the model has been selected as the target of Twilight Pathways. Yeah, you can't combine it with that quick moving psychic ability. But Blitz is cool. Pretty much the rules are the same, but they've simplified it. It's not based on what turn number you're on, it's just 2d6. So cool. I mean, he's armed fantastic. Now, which is interesting about him is with the new rules, you can split your attacks at different units, and you can split with your weapon types as well. So you could do, he's got 8 attacks, you can do 4 Harlequin Kiss attacks against a character, and you can do 4 Caress attacks against a unit of Marines that's just next to him in combat as well. So nice flexibility of him. Impossible form, Solitaire is a 3+ invuln, so he keeps that. Brilliant. Flip belt, he moves across models and terrain as if they were not there. So I think he is excellent for the points that you get, so I'll definitely take him. I mean, you are quite limited with Harlequins. If you start leaving models out and units out, you're limiting yourself a lot. So trying to give a good chance to all of these. They all seem pretty good. The lowest in the order at the moment is Death Jester, but the rest of them, especially Harlequin troops at the moment, Solitaires, excellent units. Really encouraging to see Harlequins looking pretty good. So I'm going to go to the page here to jet bikes and vehicles. So Skyweavers here, power level 5 by the way for them. Solitaire's power 6, Shadow Sea's power 7. So they really do rate the Psychers here. Power level 4 for the Death Jester. So Skyweaver jet bikes, big fan of these. Are they any good? So now they are movement 16. And the way the movement works is you can move up to 16 and shoot and assault and as normal, so they're very quick and so able to do stuff after they've moved. Weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, which is fine. Strength 3, toughness 4, 3 wounds now. They used to be 2, so they've gained a wound. 3 attacks, which is what they were. Leadership 8, and they actually have a save of 4+ here. The unit contains 2 Skyweavers. It can include up to 2 additional Skyweavers, or up to 4 additional Skyweavers, and it just gives you the power ratings there of 5 and 10. Each model is equipped with a Shuriken cannon and star bowlers. Let's just check to see what that works out at. So a Skyweaver is 35 points. They used to be 50, so they've dropped in points. Let's just check, see if you have to pay out here. Shuriken Cannon is 10 points, so you have to pay for that. And Star Bowlers is 0. So if I'm getting this right, because it doesn't include your war gear, then actually come to 45 points once you add the Shuriken Cannon on top. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yeah, okay. So 45 points each, 5 points cheaper than they used to be. So, first one's Haywire Cannon. So this was the Haywire ability in 7th. Hit the target as a blast weapon, 2+. You cause a hull point. You could actually gang up on vehicles and cause trouble. Is it any good in 8th? So the Haywire Cannon then is range 24. It's heavy D3, so you get D3 shots. It's strength 4, AP 1. It's not that fantastic against infantry, light infantry targets. Not that great at all. Very limited with the number of shots. If the target is a vehicle and you roll a wound roll of 4+ for this weapon, the target suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to any other damage. If the wound roll is a 6, the target suffers D3 mortal wounds instead of 1. So, trying to get this right here, don't want to get this wrong. If the target is a vehicle and you roll a wound roll of 4+, it suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to any other damage. So, say for example, you're trying to wound a toughness 6 vehicle, you'd need a 5+. So that means if you rolled a 4, that wouldn't be enough for your usual damage to go through. But it says here, and you roll a wound roll of 4+ for this weapon, the target suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to any other damage. So the any other damage would be nothing in that case if you had rolled a 4 against toughness 6. But you'll gain a mortal wound on a 4+. So it's basically 4+ to cause mortal wounds against vehicles, and that's D3 shots coming through. So if you roll pretty well, you get 3 shots, you hit, and then you start rolling 4+, you're going to start knocking wounds down on vehicles quite quickly. And if you get a couple of 6s, it's D3 mortal wounds instead of 1. So a couple of squads of these on bikes, you could gang up on vehicles and really start stripping away the wounds from them. Pretty good, and that's regardless of the toughness of the vehicle, which is 4+ every time. So not bad. I used it in a game, just a muck around game, and they did alright. They didn't do too bad. So I still think Haywire's a viable option for sure. You do have to pay for it though. Replace the Shuriken Cannon with a Haywire Cannon. It will cost 14 points to do that. 14 points. Now, a Shuriken Cannon's range 24, assault 3, so you get 3 shots, strength 6, damage of 1. But if you roll a 6 to wound, then it is AP -3 instead of 0. So quite handy against vehicles as well, infantry targets like power armor, terminators, and so on. So the Shuriken Cannon is pretty good. But Haywire Cannon is pretty cool. If you're going to equip to harass vehicles, then I think it's a decent enough weapon to take. Then the Zifferglaive. This is I was a fan of this in the previous edition. So it's a melee weapon, +1 strength. Don't get Furious Charge anymore. It's just going to sit on strength 4. So not that amazing. It is AP -2, and the damage is a straight 2. So that's not bad. It's all right. I think it's okay. Still think it's a decent enough option. Do have to pay for it though. The Zifferglaive will cost 11 points. So that's a bit more expense. Now what it replaces is the Star Bowlers. Star Bowlers are range 12. They're grenade D3, so you get D3 shots. Strength 6, AP -3, and damage of 1. So Star Bowler's decent enough weapon. an arrow with shooting, you have a situation where you can these jet bikes will be able to fire both their weapons. Say they're armed with a haywire cannon and then star bowlers, and you will be allowed to fire haywire cannons at one target, star bowlers at another unit. So I don't think these star bowlers are something to be written off, and they're you don't pay for them. There's 0 here. So the standard loadout for the Skyweavers I think is fine. No problem at all for fire support. Then taking the haywire cannon is definitely an option. Ziffer Glade's not bad as well. So probably go for variety, I think, so you can send them out on different tasks, different targets. These get Rising Crescendo actually, which is interesting. So they can go quick if they need to get into combat. Very, very quick. Abilities, Blur of Colour. When this unit advances, so they are allowed to advance, you add 6 to its movement characteristic. So hang on a second, you go 16 inches and then go a guaranteed 6, and then you've got the rules for Rising Crescendo to charge after you've advanced. You've basically got a 22-inch move guaranteed, and then the ability to charge after that. Very, very fast. They do have a hollow suit, 4+ inbun. Remember, they're sitting on 3 wounds, so pretty durable. Mirage launchers as well. Your opponent must subtract 1 from any to hit rolls against this target in the shooting phase. So now your opponent's -1 to hit. So usually Space Marines firing their bolters, 3+ to hit. Actually going to be on 4s to hit with -1. So a bit of protection there for them as well. So I would rate the Skyweavers for sure. I think they're excellent. And even as they come a standard loadout, you're not going to pay too much for them. A unit of 2 is 90 points. Standard loadout, not bad. Pretty good actually. So big fan of them. Glad they're pretty good now in the new edition. Okay, so then we're on to Starweaver. That is the transport vehicle. This is the shooty version over here, the Void Weaver. The other one's the transport vehicle. The Starweaver. It's power 5 and dedicated transport. Now, I think these have got better as well. It's movement 16, so this can keep up with the jet bikes. Weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, toughness 5, and then 6 wounds here. So it's changed now, it's not armor value anymore, it's wounds and strength and toughness. Attacks free, so you do get to attack in close combat. Here, with your weapon skill 3+, fighting, so it does get to fight in combat. And then leadership 8, and then a save of a 4+. So there's 6 wounds to get through, so I think it's durable enough. It's not too bad. It's take a bit of effort to reduce it right down to destroyed. Not one lucky hit's not going to do it anymore. You have to focus a fair bit of firepower to bring it down completely. Starweaver is a single model armed with 2 Shuriken cannons. Let's just have a look at the way the points work here, just to see how this works. So the Starweaver is 79 points, 2 Shuriken cannons. It says 10 points here per weapon. So I think I have to add that on top. So you're on 79 plus 20 in the end, so you're on 99 points. Now correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it's a single model armed with 2 Shuriken cannons. It says here, units, models per unit, points per model, does not include war gear. So without the 2 Shuriken cannons, Starweaver is 79. Then down here, range weapons, they're 10 points a time. So I think they're 99 points each now. Unless it's going to say anything otherwise, but I don't think so. So I hope that's not the case, but the way I'm reading it here, it's a bit confusing the way they've done it. Shuriken cannons, range 24, assault 3, we've seen that one already. It's open topped. Models embarked on this model can attack in their shooting phase, so you can shoot out of it. Measure the range and draw a line of sight from any point on this model. Any point in the hull, which is still the same as before. When they do so, any restrictions or modifiers that apply to this model also apply to its passengers. For example, the passengers cannot shoot if this model has fallen back in the same turn. Cannot shoot except with pistols if this model is within 1 inch of an enemy, as in locked in combat. Note that the passengers cannot shoot if this model falls back, even though the Starweaver itself can. Yes, alright, so you just remember your restrictions just there, but you can shoot out of the vehicle. Blur of colour. When this unit advances, or model advances, add 6 to its movement characteristic. So this is the same here as the Skyweavers. You can keep up with them. You're guaranteed an advance move of 6 inches. It's very quick. Hollow fields, 4+ invuln save for this as well. So you've literally halved the damage now that's going to come in against this thing, unless it's mortal wounds coming through. Mirage launchers. Your opponent must subtract 1 from any to hit rolls made against this model in the shooting phase. A bit of protection there as well. Your opponent's not going to be as accurate with the shooting also. So some pretty good things built up. An invuln save, bit of minus against them for shooting. Just puts a pretty, for the lightweight skimmer it is, some pretty good protection there. And you've got your explodes rule for vehicles. If you go down to 0 wounds, roll a dice. If you get a 6, it blows up. Can cause trouble. And then that's it. Starweaver can transport 6 as before. So 79, it could well be 99 points after you pay for the 2 Shuriken cannons. That makes it 100 points. It's more expensive than it used to be. But I still rate that. I think that's pretty good. A pretty good transport and a pretty good gunboat as well. You're going to get 6 shots there in total at strength 6. And any 6s to wound. You're going to cause, that'll be AP -3. It's not bad. The last entry then is a Void Weaver. This one, the unit contains 1 Void Weaver. We'll just cover this here. It's power 6, movement 16, so keep up with everything else. Weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3+, weapon skill 3+. Strength toughness 5, 6 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, 4+ save. Exactly the same as the Starweaver. This unit contains 1 Void Weaver. It can include 1 additional Void Weaver, power rating +6, or 2 additional Void Weavers, power rating +12. So you can have a squadron of them. Each model was equipped with 2 Shuriken cannons and 1 Haywire cannon. And again, do you have to pay this on top? If you do, you have to take a Void Weaver at 68 points, and then you have to pay 14 points for the Haywire cannon and an extra 20 points for the 2 Shuriken cannons, which again pushes him above around about 100, so 100 points there. So I think you do actually. So transports haven't got cheap. But judging by the other books I've looked at, the other indexes, it's the same for all of the factions. Dedicated transports and vehicles are quite expensive compared to what they used to be. So, which is interesting. I thought Games Workshop would reduce the points cost of everything to encourage people to buy more models, but doesn't appear to be so. So we've seen Haywire cannon, which I think's okay. You've got the option here to go for a prismatic cannon. Now, instead of 14 points, that will cost 20. So for an extra 6 points, instead of paying for the Haywire cannon, you'll get this. You choose your profile. You can fire dispersed. It's range 24. It's heavy D6. D6 very unreliable. You could get a 1. You could get a 6. It's strength 4. AP -2, and then 1 damage. It's okay. Bit hit and miss, that one. Focused is D3, that's strength 6, AP -3, and then the damage is D3. It's pretty good against monstrous creatures, that one there. Their toughness 5, toughness 6, you're going to force to wound, AP -3 on their armour, and then D3 wounds once you get through. The other options are Lance, which is improved here. It's strength 8, it's AP -4, and it's D6 damage. Pretty good there against vehicles. Pretty good against vehicles actually. So not bad with the Lance. And you've got your Shuriken cannon. Blur of colour, again, you can keep up the rest of these. Hollow fields, 4+ invuln, mirage launchers, bit of protection here for this one as well. And then your explodes rule just there also. So Void Weaver's okay, no complaints about that. Its weaponry, the prismatic cannon, I think is improved. There, especially with the lance shot there for higher strength and the potential to deal out a bit of damage as well. So can't see any reason why not to take a couple of those. No problem at all. So that's an option there as well. That is all the units reviewed then for this index Harlequins. Gone for them first here, just perhaps a bit of a surprise. It's just the army I've been working on at the moment. I think Harlequins overall have improved as to what they were in 7th edition, and then with the other armies being tamed down, Eldar Space Marines and Tau, all those broken formations are all taken away. Now I think Harlequins are on a level where they can lock horns with any army, and I think they're swift and deadly. Nice transports, love the jet bikes, characters are pretty good, especially the Solitaire, and then their standard troops now, here Harlequin troop is pretty awesome as well. You can equip it pretty nasty. I mean, base of 4 attacks, pretty good there for your standard troop choice. So overall, rate Harlequins, I think they're really good. Keep a lookout on the channel then for a painting tutorial for them. I know maybe a lot of people put off from collecting them because of the task of painting them. You don't have to paint all the checkered patterns, but I'm going to try and paint them up in this style. So keep a lookout for that as a work on the army. Keep a lookout for small battle reports coming out. Obviously it's going to be an 8th edition if you see any battle reports featuring Harlequins in the future. And then if you're interested in following the army along and seeing advanced tactica videos, army development videos, then that's over on the Plus channel. You can check that out. There'll be exclusive battle reports featuring the Harlequins there as well. There'll be grand strategies videos as well, and all of that's going to be updated to, or will be done in 8th edition. So I think it'll be a very bright and colourful and dynamic army to add to both the channels. So very excited about Harlequins. Going to form a list now, work on them, get some more units painted up, and then we'll see what the future holds. But that's the index review for 8th edition Harlequins. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.